my name's Emma Trippier. My experiment was on the effects of liquids on capsaicin. What I was trying to figure out in this experiment is which liquids work best when, like, after you eat a spicy pepper to relieve that pain. My hypothesis was that chocolate milk would. During my research on the paper, or on the experiment before I started experimenting, I researched how water interacts with capsaicin. And capsaicin is an oil which is in spicy peppers, and that's what gives them their infamous pain-inducing heat. So oil is a hydrophobic substance, so you can kind of glean from the name that oil and water, or capsaicin and water in this case, will repel each other. So when they're in the mouth together, when they touch each other, they push away from each other. And so the water cannot wash the capsaicin down with it. So its cool temperature will actually relieve the pain for a little bit, but then as soon as you swallow the water, it will come right back. The pain will, not the water. You realize how weird that sounded. Another thing I researched was the interaction between casein and capsaicin. Casein is a fatty substance which is found in milk, and it has a detergent effect with capsaicin, and so it bonds very well with it, and so when you swallow, it washes it right away with it, or at least most of it. Sometimes the pain still stays around, but it's mostly gone. That is the best ingredient in any liquid to work against capsaicin. The second best ingredient is sugar, because sugar, different sections of your taste buds, the buds, react with different flavors, so it will kind of make your sweet receptors and your spicy receptors just kind of react against each other, and so basically it tricks your brain into ignoring the spicy receptors if you can get enough sugar. So sugar is kind of like water. It will last for a little bit, but then the pain will start to come back. But if it's combined with casein, then that's enough to pretty much wash away the pain completely, which is why my hypothesis was chocolate milk. My materials were habanero chili peppers, tea, water, milk, chocolate milk, and Coke. For my procedure, we diced up the habaneros to remove two variables. One was the fact that different peppers have different levels of heat. The second one is that different parts of the peppers have different levels of heat. So when we diced them up and mixed them together, I ate a quarter teaspoon of it, like this. Don't worry, I'm not going to eat it, not doing that again. But that way, whenever I ate a bite of it, I would be, in essence, consuming several different peppers and several different parts of the peppers in one bite. So that cleared up a lot of variables. So I would eat a quarter teaspoon of the diced habanero mash and chew it for 5 seconds before swallowing. And I would wait 30 seconds to let the pain fully kick in, and then I would evaluate that pain on a scale from 1 to 10. And then I would drink my cure after 30 seconds. And 5 minutes after I drank the cure, I would reevaluate the pain on a scale from 1 to 10. And to find the measure of relief for each liquid, I subtracted the second rating from the first. And that was measure of relief. 30 seconds, not 30 seconds, 30 minutes after I finished each round of experimenting, I would eat a saltine, which would completely clear my palate, and 30 minutes after I ate the saltine, I would restart the experiment with the next liquid on the list. I performed this experiment on 3 different days, and I kept the same order of liquid each day, same amount of liquid, same procedure, everything. And on the 3rd day, I averaged the results of all the days to draw the conclusion. So here you can see blue is 1st day, orange is 2nd day, gray is 3rd day, and yellow is the average. I think especially here with the T, you can see the blue and orange were the same and the gray shot up. So the the yellow was rather above the blue and orange. But then with the water, this just intrigues me. The blue and orange were on the same level. They were higher than the gray, so then that dropped the average from blue and orange. Anyway, so my overall conclusion matched my hypothesis, which was that chocolate milk was best because it contained both casein and sugar, and milk was the 2nd best because it is high in casein, and Coke was the 3rd best because it is high in sugar. If I were to redo this experiment, like if I were to restart it, I wish I would have known to wait more than 30 seconds for drinking my cure, because several times it would take more than 30 seconds for the pain to reach its peaking point, so then I would drink the cure, but then the pain would keep growing, and I'm like, what's going on? It really surprised me the first time. I was like, what is going on? Why is it getting worse? A couple times I had to like scratch out the first rating and re-rate it, but I only did like a few seconds after I drank it when it reached its peak. But still, I would have waited more than that just to see where the pain was really going to go. Maybe like 40 or 45 seconds. Definitely never chug the Coke too fast, because the bubbles really, really burn your throat. And not only is this painful and inconvenient, but it can also get confusing, because then you're not sure if your pain is escalating again or if it's just the carbonation affecting it. So it can get a little confusing sometimes. If you'll see here, on the 1st day, my measure of relief was only 2, because I chugged the Coke so fast that my throat was still burning by the time the 5 minutes was up. And I guess I must have thought that was still the capsaicin working or something. Anyway, but I learned my lesson with the next 2 days and took it more slowly, and can't think of how to describe this, but took it more flatly, more over my tongue than down my throat. And so the sugar reacted with my tongue more than the bubbles reacted with my throat. And so the results were more clear then. And the other thing I would do is always take heartburn medicine. Always. It hurts. It really does. It can actually get a little hard for you sometimes. So always take heartburn medicine before you start your experiment. Not after you're wishing you had it in your system right now. Right. Any questions?
I have 2 questions. First of all, you explained why you thought that some of the results were different because of the way you drank the Coke, the speed at which you drank the Coke. What were some of the other thoughts that you had of why the results were so dissimilar in some of them?
Was there certain ones you were looking at?
No, I just noticed that the spikes are different, and
yeah, I noticed a lot of them have variation. I guess because the reason I decided to average them is because even though I did take care of those 2 variables as best as I could, that does also mean I'm always going to be getting different combinations of peppers and pepper parts in each bite. So some were just spicier than others, and therefore some had better or
Well, related to that, I'm just wondering if maybe you're thinking about what happened last time and being more aware of, just because of the experience you had the first time, that you would be more aware of different things the second time. And that leads me to my second question is, did you consider using other participants?
Yeah, actually, I did originally, but I rolled that out in the very early stages because I knew since when it came down to it, it would kind of have to be an opinion thing. With a scale of 1 to 10, it was just way too many variables if I had other people, because everyone kind of has a different opinion, what they think is spicy and what isn't.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with a measure of relief, I'm not rating pain. With a measure of relief, I'm rating difference. So that's why it works.
I have a question. What led to your hypothesis? What about chocolate milk when you were like, did you have experiences with pain relief from chocolate milk before?
No, we're actually supposed to draw our hypothesis after we research.
Okay.
Funny thing is, I was originally going to do this experiment with red chili peppers. There were a lot of problems with that, namely that you couldn't really find them on this continent in this season, except in dried form, and we're not sure if those were edible or I don't know. I'm not even sure what was going on, but there was a long story about the chili peppers. Anyway, we eventually decided not to do chili peppers, and we eventually decided on habaneros, but that meant I kind of had to redo my research paper just in case there was any difference between red chilies and habanero chilies. And sugar actually doesn't have anything to do with habaneros, as opposed to red chilies. But my original hypothesis was the white milk when I did the red chili, when I was going to do the red chilies. And when I redid my research paper, I thought, I wonder if sugar interacts with it. And then I changed my hypothesis before I actually started doing my experiment. So.
Right. Do you have any bad side effects?
You had to bring that up.
Question.
Objection, Your Honor.
No, just have you experienced any,
I think you would know that. Actually, there is a paragraph in my research paper. The side effects include stomach cramping, indigestion, diarrhea, sweating, fever, runny nose, swollen lips, and tears. I experienced every single one of those.
Oh.
It was fun.
Oh, man.